This video has been funded in part by the Guild via Patreon. Check out the links in the description or at the end of this video for more details. Game provided by P-Cube. Hello everyone, my name is Gildart and welcome back to another Pros vs. Cons mini review. Ever since I was a wee young lad, I've been a collector. The first thing I ever collected was Hot Wheels. Now it's games, CDs, instruments, Gundam models, anime figures, anime DVDs and Blu-rays, manga, VHS tapes, eclectic home decor, and mugs. No, you have a problem. And though my collecting habits formed with Hot Wheels, where it really started to become a way of life was monster collecting RPGs like Pokemon, Digimon, Monster Rancher, and even Metabots. Anyone remember Metabots? No? Just me? Well, today I get to take a look at a newcomer to the monster collecting RPG family with Nexomon Extinction on PS4. The first Nexomon was originally released on July 10th, 2020 for PC and mobile. So this is the first time Nexomon has seen a console release. From what I can tell from my research, Nexomon Extinction is a sequel to this first game. It's been a while since a new monster collecting RPG has hit the scenes, and it's been even longer since I've tried a new one. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm expecting this game to play similarly to the classic Pokemon games. But am I gonna be humming the root theme for Nexomon Extinction for the rest of my life? Well, there's only one way to find out. Ready, set, pros. Usually the first thing I mention is visuals, because it's often the first thing you notice with a game. At first, I didn't really like the art style, but as I played it more and more, it really grew on me, especially the Nexomon designs. Many of the first Nexomon you run into are actually pretty dang cute. Usually with a monster collecting RPG like this, I choose my first few teammates on looks. I don't think I've seen a Nexomon so far that made me go, why the hell did you put this into the world? One nice way of enjoying the art style and animation is through your own avatar. Starting out, there are a lot of models for you to choose from. I just picked the one that felt best suited for me. You know, if you're gonna be playing the whole game looking this way, you want it to count, right? Wait, you can change your character model and gender? Okay, that's pretty cool right there. You can also have these little followers as well. These aren't really the Nexomon in your team, but unlockable as you go through the game. Once I unlocked the Llama Nexomon Woozy, I know I had to have that through my entire gameplay. Speaking of cool things in this game, you get to choose from 9 starters. These represent the 9 different types you'll encounter in this game. Fire, water, electric, plant, mineral, wind, psychic, ghost, and normal. This makes for an interesting start to the game because you get to pick your favorite type right from the get-go. Now, I always pick fire because that's my favorite element. Plus, this looks so cute. I absolutely need one of these in my life. Also, the sheer number of Nexomon in this game is great. Over 380 Nexomon means you'll be collecting for a very long time. Not to mention, there are Cosmic Nexomon, which are the equivalent to this game's shinies. They are a 1 in 4,000 chance, and I just so happened to get one before even getting my bronze badge. Hashtag humblebrag. The gameplay is exactly what you'd expect from this sort of RPG. The main difference between Nexomon and Pokemon is that Nexomon has stamina for all of its moves, rather than PP for just one move. This means that you have to strategize which moves you want to use next. If you use a move that you don't have enough stamina to use, the Nexomon will get tired and skip its turn. This leads to more strategy. Do you want to use a weaker move to get less damage, but still get a hit in, or do you want to skip your turn in order to work up enough stamina to take your opponent out? On top of that, when catching Nexomon, there are a lot of factors that go into your chance at catching them. How much damage you've dealt, the trap you use, if they have any status effects like poison or sleep, if you have certain passive items, or even how much they've been fed. Yep, you get to feed the wild Nexomon to make them more likely to be caught. Once you chuck your trap out, you are greeted with a button prompting minigame. I really like this because it feels like you're actually making a difference in the grand scheme of things. Another comparison to Pokemon is the way that this game pulls off its overworld moves. Whereas with Pokemon you have the dreaded HM Slave. In Nexomon, you have key items that are used for this, like the pickaxe that you use to break rocks, mostly to gather shards for crafting. The last thing I'll mention is that the story in this game is actually pretty interesting. Most monster collecting RPGs put their story in the background in a way that makes the player kind of build their own story when they play through the game. Nexomon has that in the way of side quests and the whole monster collecting thing, but the main story is very much in the forefront while you're playing through the game. Most of the NPCs will mention what's going on in the world, and some NPCs either change what they say as you go through the story, or change to different NPCs entirely. I feel like this leads to a more fleshed out world and makes it feel like it's truly alive. But with that, I've mentioned all the positives I have so far. Now let's dive into the wrath of the cons! Alright, there's a few things in Nexomon I feel could have been improved on. First thing, back to the art. I know I said it grew on me as I went along, but initially it felt like a high-grade Flash game you'd see on Newgrounds. I feel like some of the character portraits could have used a little bit more detail to look that much more professional. As I said though, the art style did grow on me, I just felt like I should at least mention my initial reactions. Speaking of the character portraits, the random other tamers that you battle only get these small portraits. I feel like this doesn't differentiate the wild battles or the tamer battles as much as you'd see in something like Pokemon. There were a couple of times where I'd be mid-battle, get up to do something, come back, and forget I was actually in a tamer battle. There are some minor screen cues, but overall, not much tells you that this battle is different. This game also takes more inspiration from the classic Pokemon games than the modern ones. The biggest thing that feels weird is the lack of diagonal movement. Once you get used to it, it's not too bad, but when you see this visual style, you think you can walk using the analog stick and move diagonally. You can use the analog stick, but you can only move up, down, left, or right. Just feels weird. Another thing that feels weird is how quickly you amass a collection of Nexomon. I had just under a dozen Nexomon before leaving the tutorial area. That's crazy! I feel like you should have more limitations around how many you can capture. That way you can spend a little bit of time with a smaller team before having a full group and some on the side. There's also a bit of a list I have of smaller nitpicks that could easily be patched out down the road. Something I like to do is keep my team around the same level. To do this, I keep my team sorted from lowest to highest level. You can only designate which Nexomon is your main. So if that one dies, you can't choose who's secondary until that main has died and then designate another main. The next is when you're looking at your Nexodex, I guess is what I'll call it. When you're scrolling through the decks, you can't jump pages. You can only go up and down in individual numbers. It would be nice to hit left or right to jump by, I don't know, 10. You also can't see the cosmic version of Nexomon either. It'd be nice to be able to go back and forth between the normal and cosmic look in this. Also, each Nexomon only has one type. I feel like having two, like Pokemon, would give combat a little bit more strategy to work with. I've run into quite a few Nexomon that look like they should have a second type. Also, it's very difficult to look at this game without talking about Pokemon as well. But something that could have helped Nexomon stand out from the crowd is to implement more varied ways to evolve or by adding a fourth evolution. At times, you can tell this is very much inspired by Pokemon with little to no reference to other monster collectors like Digimon, Monster Rancher, or Metabots. Am I still the only one who remembers Metabots? Fine. I'll be over here. Crying in the 90s. It's a new way I like to feel. I'm just crying. All in all, Nexomon Extinction was a very nice experience. It brought me back to the classic days of monster collecting RPGs. Even though this was a brand new experience, it hit me with a load of nostalgia while playing. I'm already getting the itch to go for a full completion of the game, especially after receiving a Cosmic Nexomon. I also want to continue playing the story. It's interesting to see world building put in the forefront in a game like this. Though I had some cons, they didn't hinder my enjoyment too much. So Nexomon Extinction gets a thumbs up from me. Like I said earlier, it's hard to talk about Nexomon without bringing up Pokemon. Now the real question, do I think Nexomon is a good replacement for Pokemon? Not necessarily. There's still a lot of polish that Pokemon has thanks to years of experience in the industry. But I believe that Nexomon is a good companion to Pokemon and may be able to rival it someday. Not to mention the fact that it's the perfect replacement for those without a Nintendo console. If a kid has a PS4 or an Xbox One and really wants something like Pokemon to play, this is a great option. As well, because of the lower price, if you can't afford the new Pokemon games, you can easily enjoy some quality monster collecting even on the Switch. Now, if only Metabots were still a thing. Anyways everyone, thank you so much for watching my mini review on Nexomon Extinction. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and comment below with your thoughts. Things like that help these videos get pushed to others in the YouTube algorithm, so every little bit helps. If you haven't already, subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you know when new videos go up. If you'd like to help support the channel and what I do here, you can join the Guild via Patreon like these awesome people that you're seeing on screen right now. You can join them at the end of every single video for just $1 a month. There's other rewards and other tiers as well, so check out the links that you see on screen, and I will see you all down in the comments.